I think you need to have space for conversations between people with different ethical backgrounds, and also make those considerations explicit to be able to understand and respect each other's perspectives on that. And I've learned a lot. I mean, I came from hard science when I entered the Red Cross world. And that's a world, for instance, where we're providing humanitarian aid in context of conflict, where it means we talk to both parties in a war to have access to those areas, sometimes with violent conflict happening almost at the same time. There might be a short ceasefire so that we can enter those areas. And it sometimes means compromises that, from a purely ethical perspective, I don't want to talk to those guys, they're shooting each other. But yet we want to reach those people. So yes, we do talk to those people, and we sometimes, find solutions that work in that context to do the humanitarian support that's needed, but that you might not, not prefer in a purely random ethical perspective. So there are very strict humanitarian drivers that dictate, in a way, how you position yourself there. And I've learned a lot from that ethics, but also about the importance of explaining that ethics when I explain the trade-offs that we face in those areas, and also the limits that we then put on ourselves sometimes, also in terms of, for instance, being vocal about some issues, right? Even being vocal in the initial stages about climate change. If being very vocal about climate change might make the Red Cross being perceived as a political actor that could not be trusted as a neutral intermediary in a conflict, then it would not be worth it to talk about climate, right? That prerogative of being able to access those areas would be more important. So that's maybe an illustration of where I think there are horses for courses and different ethical perspectives that matter in certain contexts, and also for certain actors. But it is really important that we're explicit about them, and that we are able to have conversations about them. And I think in the case of SRM, that includes discussions that need to be had at all levels, between people from very different political backgrounds, but indeed also with very different ethical perspectives. And we're already seeing that in some of the discussions about field experiments on SRM, where certain religious feelings, for instance, are coming to the fore. And there's a whole ethical literature also on how you deal with those principled objectives for a much wider range of political decisions. And I think we have to confront that practice of respecting all those different perspectives in how we set up governance for SRM.